Now, South African civil rights organizations have called for a harsher punishment for those who kill children. This comes after the murder, rape and mutilations of a 4-year-old Bogabo Poo in Johannesburg. Ntokozo Khulekani Zikhali has been charged for her murder, and his arrest has sparked calls for reforms in the justice system that would see perpetrators face strong punishment. An average of 3 children are killed each day in South Africa, with a total of 549 children murdered in the first 6 months of this year. And now joining us in studio to talk more about the issue is Executive Director at the Human Rights Institute of South Africa, Corlett Letlojane. Thank you so much for joining us, Corlett, on the news at this time.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having us on the program.
Now, 3 children killed a day in South Africa is quite a shocking statistic. What is at the root of this shocking trend?
Thank you very much for the question. I think what we could say that for us to have arrived at these alarming statistics of 3 children murdered on a daily basis, it means that this scourge has been allowed, to cultivate in communities. And communities that might have been reporting all these crimes that are committed to children, and nothing has happened. Unfortunately, the situation has become very disproportionate. The mechanisms that we have in the country, like in the constitution, the legislation as well, institutions that are responsible to protect the rights of children, they have not come up as well. We have not even seen condemnations from these institutions that are created by the Constitution to guard against such crimes. We are saying that these have been allowed, to grow so much in the communities that it has become so, common for such practices to take place. And now the police are very much overwhelmed. We've seen the father who's very traumatized by what has happened, but these have been taking place in many times, and now they're being exposed.
Now, just earlier on, you mentioned legislation and the fact that this has been allowed to go carry on for a longer time, and that's why we have 3 children a day being killed. Now, there are calls for stronger legislation and stronger sentences. Now, is the problem really legislation or implementation of the legislation?
The legislation is progressive. The institutions are also very good ones. However, the problem of implementation and how do we expect the implementation to take place? Education and awareness. I don't think we have done enough in reaching to communities and translating some of these legislations and mechanisms into local languages. I think there's a need for community participation, reaching to various structures, even what we call traditional leaders and even religious leaders as well, to be part and parcel of this. There are many structures in communities that can play a role in assisting, infiltration for implementation. And also, I think there has been very bad enforcement from the justice system. People have not seen, this suspect, who are held accountable, given, capital punishment, like, for example, sentences that will ensure that, the society learn from the bad behavior or this heinous crime. So we have not seen crimes that are being, punished or the perpetrators persecuted or convicted to the extent that, there's no one who dare take a chance of committing those crimes. So we need to do more in terms of making the laws realizable, and, casting out the living law and the lawlessness that we see in our country, where people do not even give respect to the institutions of democracy and the law itself.
Now, you talk about incorporating the community to end this trend. We know that in the community, unemployment is a major concern in South Africa. Now, to what extent are social issues contributing to these violence against children?
Unemployment is extremely, disproportionate. We have seen a youth which is over 50%, which is unemployed, which is just, always looking for jobs. And we know that some of them, they get, led into committing crimes, into behaving in manners that are in conflict with the law. We have seen that the government, although it's providing social grants, for example, those grants, they get, used instantly because people are now into drugs. There's substances that we see our young people and the society and even attracting learners in schools that are now, using these substance abuses and drugs. And now we see families that are supposed to be receiving social grants and those that are unemployed, using them instantly. There is no proper education and there is no, progress in ensuring that, we create jobs. We need to be innovative enough in our society. We cannot rely only on government preparing our CVs, looking around, job hunting. People can create jobs like we see it's happening in other countries. You find that young people, become entrepreneurs at very early age. They go into sewing, they make dresses, they make clothes, they even do, they are also in hospitality. There's quite a number of businesses that I feel that the society is failing to use the opportunity to be innovative, to create jobs, and not just expecting jobs the way we are doing, because we know that we are also having shortage of skills. Some of these jobs that are advertised anyway, you find that are for highly competent or highly skilled individuals. We still have that kind of shortage. And the government has been playing its part, for example, encouraging organizations to employ graduates as interns and also, receiving some form of benefits to make payments of stipends, of any form of appreciation. So those amounts are currently, they're beyond the living standards. Inflation has grown up. Poverty is increasing. So this kind of situation is really have been left, and we need a government that is listening, that is engaging the citizens to address its problems.
Thank you so much, Corlett. A lot that the government and even the community needs to do to end this ugly trend. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having us.